This is WGRG 100.5 FM, where we meet the absolute minimum FCC broadcasting standards. It's time to hang on and brace yourself for a community radio program that's frankly indescribable. Let's talk Geneseo. Two guys with nothing better to do on a Friday morning but to talk about our community. Geneseo City Administrator Brandon Meglin and City Alderman Keith Kennett. And yeah, nobody, and I mean nobody, puts the blah in blah, blah, blah like these guys do.
Well, good morning to our listeners and viewers, and also a good morning to you, Brandon, for this Friday, September 12th edition of Let's Talk Geneseo.
Good morning, Keith.
Good morning.
Episode 67, I believe.
That is, I believe that is correct.
A little low this morning.
Yes, I was going to say, does that sound better? A little bit?
Test. Well, yeah, I think that's good.
Okay. All right. And just, not that anyone cares, but we'll share it anyway. But normally, our longtime listeners would know, usually there's penguins and stuff greeting us here as we come into the broadcast studio each and every Friday. Today, no penguins, just a very warm radio studio. So we have the door propped open. You may hear some hallway noise outside, have a little fan going. So after the program today, we'll try and figure out why it's 80 degrees in here instead of our normal comfortable 65.
I'm usually so cold in here that my hand's shaking when I pick up my coffee to take a sip.
Yeah, a little unusual. We're used to seeing our breath. It's something for the viewers as well. They get a kick out of seeing that. Is that just condensation? Is that smoke coming out of their breath?
You got to keep all this electronic equipment cold in here.
That is exactly correct. But anyway, with that though, we very much thank you for tuning in and listening. Those on listening on WGRG or on the stream or viewing on the podcast or stream or however you are catching us through all our varied means of participation to our viewers and listeners. So. With that, though, we are very happy to have two pretty special guests in with us this morning. And Brandon, I will turn the introductions over to you.
Yeah. We'd like to welcome Tyler and Renee Robertson this morning from a plethora of businesses in the Geneseo community. I met Tyler at, the chamber dinner?
Yeah, at the annual chamber dinner.
Yeah.
And then, and I forgot to say this before because I was distracted, but with the microphones, just get as close as you can to them, and we will continue.
And we even had a lot of time for preparation this morning, and we didn't give them the rundown of the microphone.
Yeah, we were having friendly banter, but forgot to kind of prepare for the program, which is nothing new for us. Anyway.
Yeah, well, appreciate you having us on today, and it was something you had invited me to, and we got a chance to meet at the chamber dinner, and then I also surprised my wife with inviting her on as well.
Surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys are involved in Geneseo Child Care, Exchange Street Works, and you also have an Airbnb outside of the city here. So we want to dive into some of those businesses and find out why you got involved and how those things are going this morning and things that people might be interested in if they have an interest in some of the services that you guys provide. So why don't we start with child care? And this is a topic that, we've got into with a number of our guests from the schools or other community organizations that, child care is challenging in the area for a lot of working families. So I guess what led you guys to Geneseo Child Care and how does it work?
Sure. We have 4 kids of our own. So when I was working, we had to find childcare, and we were lucky to have some good in-home care. But then after I stayed home, we just had a lot of friends that kept asking us about childcare. Do you know anyone that can watch our kids? Would you watch our kids? So after kind of looking into it a little bit, we kind of saw that there was a need for more childcare options in Geneseo, and Tyler's very business-minded, so he kind of said, hey, maybe we should look into doing this, and, it just was kind of a good fit since I have the education background and he has the business and management background, so we just started diving in and seeing what options there were in town and found a great location to start on Route 6.
Right, yeah, and so we've got 4 children. They're 7, 8, 10 and 12 right now. So yeah, really, the short answer is we didn't have a choice. We had to open up a childcare. We had too many kids. But yes, you were both originally from Geneseo, grew up in the area, grew up through the school district here, and went away to college, to school, moved elsewhere, worked for employers, and then you just kind of realize how great of a community Geneseo is when you live elsewhere, and you can make a good comparison. And so, after we got married and had a couple kids, we wanted to move back to the area, and so we moved back to Geneseo, actually on Ogden and College here, where there's no longer a house. And Renee worked for the school district as a teacher in first grade, and this is how things go full circle, because I went to Northside in first grade, and then she ended up teaching in that same classroom. It was a much different perspective going into the classroom as an adult than it was as a child, because you just you see things a lot differently, and I think that's what's great about working with young children too. Every day is just like you get to see a different perspective of the world. Keith knows you babysit for your grandchildren, and it's like the kids say the darndest things. The things that come out of their mouth just can give you a lot of enjoyment. So when we had our third child, Renee ended up staying home because childcare is expensive, as people know, and I think it's great when mothers can stay home with their kids, and so we did that for a number of years. But yes, we had a lot of friends that reached out, and so we knew that there was a need in the community. And so when Renee was, or maybe when she wasn't ready to go back to work, I don't know where she maybe blames me for opening the business, but we just saw that there was an opportunity there. We're from the community. We love the community. We wanted to invest back in the community, and this was just a way that we could give back. We really felt like, the school district here has a great reputation for the quality that it has, and so we really wanted to mimic that in what we were doing with childcare, and that was providing quality childcare. And so we opened up the doors at what would be the old Howard School. That's how locals would know the school name, which has been there for a long, long time. It was actually a one-room schoolhouse back in the late 1800s, and the school district built a building there in 1960, did some additions in 75, and so it's got a long history of education, out in rural community, which is pretty amazing. So it had been a number of things over the years, but it was perfect for what we wanted to do when we looked at it back in 2019, and connected with the local business owner who had purchased that facility and really did some wonderful renovations to it, put new concrete on, new roof, and just made it usable again. And so now we've got 25 employees there. We've got 75 kids, give or take on the day. And, we get a lot of feedback from community members like, oh, we love seeing that the building is being used, it's just indicative of a vibrant community that is alive and thriving. And so anyways, back on track is, it's just really grown since then. So in 21, we were approached to open up another facility in town, which is on Exchange Street. And so we opened up 2 classrooms there. We see that there's a continued need for childcare. And so we opened up that facility. We were approached by some other business owners out in Port Byron about a facility. So we've got a facility out in Port Byron. So yeah, it just really took off, and I was always in automotive, and so business, very male dominated industry, and So once we grew to a certain point that the business just required my full-time attention, I left automotive, and now I work full-time for our businesses, which is great. So Renee and I work full-time together, and a lot of people will come through the office and be like, I could never do that. But it's really great because, our backgrounds, they're very complementary. Like Renee said, my background is in business. I went to the University of Illinois, and she went to the University of Northern Illinois. Well, I'm doing a lot of talking. You guys can hop in whenever you want.
It's called Northern Illinois University.
That other one.
All he knows is it's not U of I.
Right. But I'm sure it's good.
So what, obviously you guys have been successful with your model. The labor market's still tough, and obviously you want high quality people in these facilities, and to make sure that you're hiring the right people and trustworthy people. So how do you do that and be successful in a tough hiring climate still?
Yeah, that's a great question. We spend a lot of time on it. I mean, is really the answer. And we've really found a lot of success in reaching out to people versus just putting out an ad and letting them come to us. We've also have a philosophy that, if a good candidate, a good team member comes to our door, even if we're not hiring, we'll bring them on board. And that philosophy has really served us well because, one, we never want to be understaffed. That can lead to a lot of turnover and burnout, and we don't ever want to pass up what would be someone who can really bring us to that next level. Bring some quality to the team, and so we really try and stay on top of that, where we're always looking. If there's someone out there that fits what we need, because it's a relationship between employer and employee, and so it's got to work both ways, but always looking. Right now we're actually looking for a unique position as a cook, because we do all of our in-house cooking. So Brandon, do you do any cooking?
No. Tabitha might be listening to this, and she's probably screaming no.
Yeah. Well, it is a unique position because we only have one cook, but that cook works for full time. Also gets to see all the kids, interact with the kids. They're very honest about the food, but they hardly ever complain. When you're making these kids really eat kings here, because it's all cooked in the kitchen fresh. They get chicken quesadillas and turkey wraps, and so I eat the lunch too.
Well, there's probably not much that Tyler wouldn't eat, but yes, it is pretty good. I also wouldn't say it's kind of like similar to the Geneseo School District. We kind of do a grow your own type of situation sometimes, where you have an assistant teacher that is just really great, just naturally. And so then we do our own training to kind of get them on board with becoming a lead teacher, and then hopefully a long-term employee. So that's kind of how you can kind of make sure you have those quality employees, like you said, for a long-term position. Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. So walk us through, at the centers, what does a typical day look like for members there, and how do you get enrolled if people are interested, and are there assistance programs or things for families that are looking for care?
Sure. Typically, people that were interested would give the center a call, and then we can let them know if there's immediate openings, if we have a wait list. It depends on the age group and the time frame. We offer full-time care, which would be 5 days a week, or we do offer part-time Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So those are the options that people would be looking at. Then we would typically give them a tour and let them see if it's a good fit for them. And then we have some enrollment forms and things that they would go through that process. As far as assistance, there is a program through the state that we do accept. It's called Child Care Assistance Program. So we do accept that at all of our locations. So that's helpful to a lot of families too. As far as a typical day, it's busy. I mean, they're always moving and they're always having fun, lots of energy from 7 a.m. till 5:30 for some of them. So yeah, they start with.
Knew it. Knew Casey would
Hi,
stop
Casey.
by.
Shout out to Casey.
Come on in.
Got a window peeper here in the studio.
Yes.
Yeah, a pretty typical day. You know, we open up at 7 a.m. Parents can come in the doors right away. And, you know, the first couple hours of the day are just, it's drop-off time. Parents are getting to work. You know, and the kids come in the classroom. And they've got some free choice time. They can kind of decide where they want to go. You know, kids like to be in control. And so we give them a little bit of control during certain times of the day. But each classroom has a little bit of a different schedule, but they are all on a schedule because kids are creatures of habit. They love routine, and as well as adults do as well. But you know, with the kids, they like familiarity, and so having that when they come in the classroom every day, seeing the same, you know, smiling face on the teacher that they know, you know, it makes them comfortable, and so that's how we start the day. Maybe you can talk about, you know, how the teachers get into the programming and what they do in the mornings.
Yeah, each age group is going to have, like you said, free choice time, but they're also going to have some structured time. We refer to it as circle time a lot, or center time. Yeah, they thrive off of that routine. And then, you know, our center is big enough, but not too big, so it's really a family vibe, and I think they really get to know their classmates, but also their teachers. They're with us a lot of hours of the day, so they kind of, you know, really are their caregivers, and they make that connection. So, yeah, they spend a lot of time together, and then they know what to expect. So then we have snack together. Like you said, we're preparing their snacks right there. So, and then let's see.
Yeah, each classroom then gets into like a circle time where the you know, teacher will have them in a circle, and they go through you know, more academic items like weather and letters and colors and numbers and shapes, and you know, we really like to have them do a lot of play-based learning, which is, you know, part of the free choice time. But we also know that we want to get them ready for kindergarten too. So you know, we put in a lot of those kindergarten readiness aspects to it. So they'll do circle time. They do what's called center time, which looks like a lot of fun because the teachers will put like different areas of the classroom. They'll set it up with different toys you can play with, or puzzles, or, you know, this one you're doing something with letters, and you know, it looks like fun. When I go in the classroom, they're having fun. I kind of want to sit down with them and play with the toys sometimes.
Grab a quesadilla and join in.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, buddy.
So we're winding down on time quickly. I want to pivot if we can and get into some of your other businesses. Exchange Street Works. So obviously you guys set up the child care in Exchange Street Works before you owned the facility. So what led you to actually buy the whole business, and tell us what is Exchange Street Works beyond the child care center, which is on the east side of the building, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Exchange Street Works, you know, a lot of business names will tell what the business is. So I feel like Exchange Street Works, you kind of have to explain it a little bit. One, it's called Exchange Street because it's on Exchange Street in Geneseo, and the Works portion is because it's a collaborative space. It's a co-working space for business professionals to come collaborate and work. So there's a number of business office rentals, small offices, large offices, that you know, I should give a shout out to a lot of the people that we have out there. Jeremy Breeze with Pacific Corp, Megan Dwyer with Ag Authority, Illinois Corn, Nolan Paxton with Keller Williams, Maury Nelson with Thrivent Financial, Rob Galloway with EKG Financial Service, also heads the Junior Leafs program, Brendan Gramling with Deere. So yeah, we've got a lot of local business professionals there, but anyone can sign up for a membership for what we call the shared space. And the shared space is kind of a larger, it looks like an event space, but there's high tables, short tables in there. There's a large monitor that you can connect to. And so they can get out of the office and come there to work. And really the idea of it was birthed during COVID, which is when everyone went to work from home in their home, and so this was a place to get out of the home. It originally started about 4 years ago. 4 members of the community: Jake Mickley, Andy Moore, Jackie Mickley, Joe Mickley, put this together. It was actually the old Alexander Lumber building, which was there for a long, long time. They gutted it, remodeled it from the ground up, had Ashley Moore do a lot of the decorating, and it just is a beautiful environment. As Brandon, you've been in the facility, you had said, for an event. So we do also allow people to rent out the entire shared space, event space, for graduation parties, wedding showers. We've had, watch parties, Bible study groups, reunions. So just a plethora of things that you would want to use that space for. Now, everything can be booked online, which is the easy part about it. You can just go on our website, shows you the availability, create a login, and you book the space. From there, you get an email from us. We just coordinate any of the details. So we like to keep things simple, and so as simple as we can.
Yeah, it really is a beautiful, an open feeling space, even for the offices that are in there. Are there office spaces available for long-term lease right now, or is everything currently booked up?
We do have one larger office space available currently. Otherwise, like you said, those memberships where you can come and go as you want have been really popular for people to meet up. It's kind of like a coffee house without the coffee, or bring your own coffee type of thing. So that's kind of the feeling we've got, or the feedback we've got on it.
Yeah, there is a little kitchenette area. It's got a sink. It's got a Keurig maker, microwave. So it's a good homey feel for everyone to be as comfortable as possible. So everyone's happy when the coffee's hot and ready, right?
Yeah. And it really is a great reuse, though, too, of these facilities. As Tyler mentioned, the old timers will be used to Howard School, but you head out on Route 6, kind of halfway between here and Kelowna, but on the S curve there, and just the work that has happened with that building, but also the outdoor play areas and all that. The old Alexander Lumber, which had, it's always a struggle for a city sometimes when you have a larger business that closes. And then you kind of have a space, though, that just kind of, what do you do with it? And certainly with you guys and others before, to take that and reuse it and repurpose it to where there's a need, really is beneficial for the whole community to have these services available, obviously beyond just the actual services that you're offering.
Yeah, absolutely. Then finally, so let's get into this Airbnb situation that you guys, are you going to take on a fourth venture here pretty soon too? I mean,
No.
In your free time.
Right.
I mean, how about a bar or something? I feel like, you pivot to another whole different sector. It's easy. So tell us about the Airbnb, though. We know that, the Geneseo community, we have limited hotel availability. People, nothing against hotels, but families and larger groups often like to do these Airbnbs now around the country, right? So
Right.
you guys have a neat option right outside of town.
Yeah, I think it probably grew the interest, like you said. We have a larger family, so we can't really fit into one typical hotel room very easily. So when we travel, we like to travel either with another family or our own family in an Airbnb situation. So I think that's kind of what drew us to start that, to looking into that in the beginning. Anyway, the great thing is it has a pool. So I think that was the other idea of why we thought it would be great to have as an Airbnb instead of just a long-term rental. And because then when it's not booked, our own children can use the pool. So they like to visit there as well.
It's just outside of town on the south side near Bowling Fields, and so the idea was boy, there's a lot of teams coming into Bullen Field, to JF Edwards Field, and so we felt like, there's a need that we can fill there. And but quite honestly, surprisingly, I didn't know how booked it would be. It has been extremely booked by all sorts of different people, from Chicago, Milwaukee, Alaska, Florida. I mean, it's families coming into the Midwest to meet together. It's sports teams that are traveling either to TBK or the Quad Cities. It's people that want to get out of the city. The house itself is a 1920s farmhouse that we renovated. And while it has a pool, it also has goats because it's marketed as a farmhouse. And so I think there's a lot of draw for that, getting away from the busy life for people and just kind of getting out in the country.
Yeah, and the location is cool in that you literally are adjacent to town, but where it's at though, it's kind of like you're out in the country, and like you're saying, you have goats, and what could be more attractive to if you're from the large urban area to kind of come out and enjoy what it's like out here in the rural part of the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what a great opportunity for how it's positioned by Bullen Field. But a lot of people don't realize, probably one of the largest tourism draws. Nothing against our great Chamber of Commerce and the big events, but is really sports tourism for kids events and bringing families in, and that happens year round. And that's where we get a lot of our traffic, and which translates into good business opportunities for our downtown retailers, and sales tax coming into the city and the schools and everybody else. So,
right.
Yeah, appreciate you guys providing that opportunity out there. And all of these businesses, you guys are just, I feel like, Tyler, you could have your own show, probably.
Yeah.
Well, I do appreciate being invited to the #1 show in Geneseo, so maybe I could be the #2.
Well, you're on the school board, too, right?
Well, that's right. With the spare time that we don't have,
Just going to say.
I do serve
what
on the
else
school
are you
board.
involved in?
I coach baseball. Renee coaches basketball, softball. We're out in the community everywhere. But we love this place. We're invested in it, and that's what it takes. And that's what makes this community so great. Is everybody in the community doing their part?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, thank you for your investment from the city perspective. And
exactly, a great enhancement to the community on so many levels. And like Brandon says, just curious to see what you'll add to your plate. But everything that's on it, you do well. And again, great benefits for the whole community.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, guys, and stick around while we discuss a couple more things here. Maybe you'll have some input. Keith, what else we got coming up? I mean, we want to remind people of a few things. I think. Tonight, Central Bank Pavilion. I think it's the final concert of the season.
Is that tonight?
It's
okay.
Rabbit Hole, who is a very popular local group.
All right.
That'll be starting at 7 p.m. out there.
All right.
Also want to remind folks of city fall curbside cleanup. That's next week. The garage sale weekend in town is going on right now, and we kind of strategically coordinate that with the chamber, who advertises the garage sales, to make fall curbside cleanup always right after garage sale weekend now, so that if there's some things you don't sell at the sale and want to put out on the curb, you can do that and dispose of them properly.
There you go, and it should be great garage sale weather today and tomorrow. So come on out. Always a lot of. I'm not a garage sale person, I'll be honest, but from what I hear from people that are garage sale people, that Geneseo does a nice job with it. And yeah, it's a whole thing that happens. And but if you do end up not selling things from your garage sale and you're putting them out for cleanup week and stuff, just be courteous too. We just don't want a huge pile of stuff thrown at the curb. Try to stack it as best you can. And
there are some sizing limits, so if you decide to fill your whole block with things, you will be getting a knock on the door, most likely. So just be respectful of of a reasonable load size out there.
Yeah, just a lot of common sense and stuff with that. So
Yeah.
so that's coming up, and then next Saturday, e-waste, as you referenced, I believe.
Yes.
Or hold it.
That'll e-waste will be on the 20th.
The 20th,
which
which
I
is,
believe is in 2 weeks from tomorrow. What is today?
I think it's a week
No,
from
it'll
tomorrow.
be a week from tomorrow.
It's
yes.
one of the rare times
I'm a
I'm
little behind.
actually correct with the date.
Yeah, usually I'm correcting you on the date.
Exactly.
Yeah, e-waste is next Saturday from 8 to noon at the Street Department building. That's 686 Chicago Street. Bring out a lot of people, kind of pigeonhole broken electronics, old TVs, or just things you want to dispose of. We partner with PCs for People. They upcycle computers, phones, things that can be refurbished and give them back to disadvantaged youth and schools. So that's a neat program. And then a lot of the waste does just have to go through proper e-waste recycling. But it's a good way for the city to do it on a zero budget basis. They come in for free and pick those things up and help some people out too. So
Yeah, and that really has grown into for how many years that we've been doing it. But
Yeah.
each year it's utilized more and more. And we do make the process simple. Again, Street Garage, just right off of Chicago.
Yeah.
You can pull up, and we'll even come and take it out of your car and do everything for you, and you're in and out really quick.
Yep. Yeah. Depending on when you get there, cars, we have a line down the east side of Chicago Street to get in. Usually there's 5 to 10 minute wait to get in there, but we'll move you through quickly, open up your trunk, take the things out for you, or backseat of your car, whatever you have.
Yeah, we'll
and-
take anything.
the
Whole seat, whatever. I guess we
Yeah,
probably
it's gotta
won't
be
do that.
e-waste.
That is true. Okay.
And do check the city Facebook page or website. There are some restrictions. Some people do get frustrated if they bring some things out, such as like light bulbs, really things that are heavy with chemicals, or the old like tube TVs that have a lot of chemicals in them. We don't take things like that. Flat screen TVs, you can recycle though, but just think if it's got airborne chemicals involved in it, we can't take those
Yeah,
things,
and check the city website page and our social media outlets and all that, because it's surprising actually. The thought would be if it plugs in, it's electronic, I can get rid of it and stuff. But actually, it's there are quite a few things that we can take, and it's not that the city doesn't want to take them, but it's that where it goes to be disposed of doesn't accept them. So we have to be a little selective
Right.
on that. So you wouldn't want to load up your refrigerator into the back of your
No.
pickup truck, and then we say, sorry, we can't take that.
Yeah, it's not a time for appliances or things
Exactly.
like that. But
Yep.
yeah, cell phones, computers, flat screens, things like that. This is the appropriate time to bring them out. City council wise, Keith, I think the big thing right now is we just got back our results of a utility rate study. Going to be an ongoing process. It's not just a one-time study. It's kind of a 5-year thing that will continuously update with Waterworth, the vendor that we have doing that. So we're looking at rates right now. Really, the city's focus in this process has been, there are going to be changes coming to rates, but we're doing everything we can to protect what I would call the reasonable residential home user, using an average amount of water or average amount of one of our utilities. We're looking at keeping them at the standard pace of rate increases that we do every year at a low amount. There are going to be changes, though. The study looks at kind of the whole picture of consumption versus who are the revenue contributors, and there need to be some adjustments to non-residential services. In Geneseo, we're taking a really hard look at the lawn irrigating and recreational meters in town too. If you want to use a heavy amount of water for recreational purposes or keeping your lawn extra fresh and green, those are decisions that the city council is going to have to make as far as where those charges go, because we do have a couple of just $18.5 million in sewer and water projects on the horizon. Due to decades of not doing a lot of these major projects that you need to do. We have these systems that are lines in the ground that are over 100 years old. You know, these things have to be updated, and the mayor and council have been very focused on. You see it on North State Street. You see it on other parts of town. These annoying street projects that are. Why they're happening is because the street's being torn out so you can get to everything underneath that is, in some cases, 120, 125 years old. And you can only milk those lines for so long until they have to come out.
Yeah, and whenever whatever you're talking rate increases and that sort of thing, all of us on city council too, we are residents, so it affects us as well. Yeah. And as Brandon referenced, we're trying to be not that we weren't smart about it in the past, but a lot of times it would be just more of a we have these projects, we need to increase rates by 3% or 5% or whatever it is, and just kind of go with that. But we really have put a lot of research in, and we actually have a consultant that's guiding us with this. But to take more of a longer term approach, what's on our 5-year, 10-year horizon, and adjust rates based on that, and be more anticipatory, so that we're maybe doing a 1 or 2% rate increase as opposed to fewer but large rate increases and stuff. Right. So it's a balance that we're working through, but we're pretty confident we're going in a direction that we think the impact on most of the residential customers and typical users and stuff would be very, very nominal. And again, like Brandon said, we're trying to focus on if you're a heavy user of whatever, of power or water or what have you, that then it would probably make sense so that you should be paying at a percentage and what have you that wouldn't really be in the past. Sometimes we might, if you're a volume user, have a lower rate or what have you. But as we do these calculations, the pumps and the wells and the distribution systems and what have you are working harder, to move that volume, whether it's power or water or sewer or what have you. So just have a balanced approach and try to have it geared more towards the actual use.
Yeah, especially for water sewer. It's, you look at the full equity equation of who is actually using the system, and then what is their contribution on revenue and rates into the system. And that's an exercise that I don't know if the city's ever done. And we finally got into that this year. And rather than just throwing, we're going to charge grandma another 10% on her bill to supplement all users, that's not a sustainable model.
Right. We're just trying to be fairer about it. One thing people may not realize too, but even on power, you can have a volume, maybe commercial user and what have you, and there can be advantage to the city to some degree when it comes to the power side and increased usage. Yeah. But what you don't realize is that if you have a house or something, it's a relatively modest transformer on a pole to the stuff to actually get the power to the house. When you get commercial, though, into higher users, just the transformer and stuff that's involved to service that location is tens and tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah. Again, we need to do a better job of working that into the calculation, and that's what we're trying to do. So be aware we're doing it, but it certainly is the council's goal and staff and everyone to have whatever increases are required be as minimal as possible, and we're hopeful that we can achieve that.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well, what do you think?
I think it's time to pull the plug on this.
About 9 minutes over.
Yeah. Okay. And so, so anyway, Rabbit Hole tonight at the Central Bank Pavilion.
Downtown Geneseo should be a nice night for it. Final downtown concert of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And football game tonight. Rock Island comes to town. I believe it is the Little Leaf Cheer Clinic also. So there will be a bunch of probably several of your clients and kids participating tonight. I think it's between the freshman and varsity game typically is when they do that. But anyways, just fun to see. Probably hundreds of youngsters out there having fun on the football field. So All good stuff.
I should mention as well, tomorrow is also the Quad City Bicycle Club comes to Geneseo. We expect hundreds of riders. This is important for those who aren't participating too. So these are your hardcore street bikers, bicycles that is, not motorcycles, but out of the Geneseo Brewing Company in downtown. They do this is the Tour of the Heartland. So there's 4 25-mile-per-hour or 25-mile routes leading outside of town that people can do one or do them all. This all starts tomorrow morning at Geneseo Brewing Company. So they do expect 100 or 200 riders potentially. Looks like it's going to be a nice day. So be aware of that. There will be street markings out there for the routes, but you're going to see a lot of bicycles out on the routes tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and I think youth soccer actually has their first game starting off tomorrow as well. So really a lot
much
going
going on.
Almost too much.
Jeez.
But not too much for Tyler and Renee because
No.
they're used to having 5,000.
I'm
things.
guessing the Airbnb is booked for this weekend, probably
Airbnb
with all
is
these.
booked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
We'll be at some of those soccer events and all the other things too. So, yep.
There you go.
All right.
Well, it's all good. Well, again, thank you guys for coming in and sharing with us, Brandon. Always a pleasure. We'll see you next Friday, correct? We have any idea who we...
You know, I think we have it. I've got it on the schedule as a break week that we're going to be up at the Illinois Municipal League.
Oh, that's right. Maybe I
Chicago.
can send you with the gear.
Unless you have a guest you want to bring in, you know, we can always pivot. We do this a lot, so be a solo show.
No, I say we just do we send you with the live remote. It went so well at the golf outing.
Do a show from downtown Chicago.
Yeah, well, hey, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, there may be some interesting activity in the streets of downtown Chicago
Right,
by
we'll
next
see.
week, so could be a fun show.
Well, just stay tuned. We'll have something. Yeah.
All right.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for this Friday. We appreciate you tuning in and listening, and you've been listening to Let's Talk Geneseo on WGRG 100.5 FM in Geneseo. Have a great weekend.